Right, Ryan. This is what we wanted to hear. This is just another sign of how much closer we are to tip off. There is an article that came out today, what to know about UConn women's basketball roster ahead of summer practice. Actually, it came out yesterday. Happy June, by the way, as we turn the calendar that much closer to tip off.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's June already. We just talked about it last night. It's already it was May 31st and now it's June 1st already. We got summer workouts starting. But this is what we've been waiting for ever since the loss in the national championship game for UConn to finally reunite and take the court together for these summer workouts. So we can't wait for them to finally reunite today.
So that's what they're doing, Ryan. Today they are, for the first time this all season, the women's basketball team will reunite Wednesday, which is today, to begin its session of summer workouts. Now, this specific writer of this article, she had mentioned about, she broke down the actual roster. It says what to know about the basketball roster ahead of summer practice. I know that we went over, she did a very good job doing that. I know we went over the roster weeks ago. We took a lot of heat for predicting the unexpected, huh? So with that said, Ryan, we're not going to break down each name on the roster, but I can't wait for you to break down what, as far as, I'd still argue, I understand Paige Beckers is a star on this university, but you have to, and I might take some heat for this, you have to hold accountable what's real, what's not real. Yes, Paige Beckers could come out like we saw in the North Carolina State game. She could come out and dominate all season long. That's what we hope. But with that said, I am still leaning. Yes, Paige Beckers is a huge factor winning and losing, but I am still leaning, Ryan, on this team counting on Dorka Juhas as, I don't want to say the leader, but actually giving the most on the court, and being able to provide that accountability for wins, losses. I think it all comes down. I really do, man. And again, with her suffering that wrist injury, I don't know, man. It's very tough for me to say because I love Paige Beckers, but at the end of the day, I really think Dorka Juhas is going to play a huge, huge role on this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Dorka had a huge impact last season. And we saw when she went out, she got injured in the tournament, didn't play against NC State. We saw how much the UConn Huskies, all of them had to fight to be able to win that game and advance to play South Carolina. And then the struggle against Stanford as well. That was a tough, really tough game. They had to battle it out as
Yeah.
well. And we kind of saw against South Carolina, they really did miss Dorka in that game because of her size. They lost that size down low. They tried to bring Amari DeBerry in, and it didn't really work out too well. Of course, she kind of got thrown in there. She didn't really play that much. And she's another player that I'm interested to see. Amari DeBerry, of course, the two top 5 recruits that we went over earlier, Ice Brady, Ayanna Patterson. So I'm really excited to see both of them in these summer workouts as well. Aubrey Griffin coming off of the back surgery, really excited to see what she can bring to the table this season. And of course, Dorka Juhas as well, coming off the wrist injury now. So I'm excited to see all these players coming off of the injuries they had last season. Paige Beckers missed 19 games. AZ Fudd missed 11 games. We had Caroline Ducharme battling the hip injury. Of course, she won't be out there today. We went over that before. I think Gino said she's expected to be healthy around September, October time. But we got a ton of players coming off injury, and I would expect them to be pretty much 100% healthy now. So I'm excited to see how everybody's looking out there.
Yeah, you're right. This is the time where you look for, especially when it comes to this team, the amount of injuries they suffered. I mean, I saw here. So it was 10 of UConn's 12 players missed at least 2 games due to injury or illness this past season, including 2021 National Player of the Year Paige Beckers, who missed 19 games due to the fracture. With that said, that you're right. I'm glad you touched on the injuries because that's a big point of topic going into these summer workouts, right? The session of summer workouts, that is. But going back to Paige Beckers, I feel like that it's kind of like a leader off the court and a leader on the court. I'm not saying Paige Beckers can't lead on the court. What I'm saying is, Ryan, Paige Beckers does an excellent job at both. Okay, let's just set the point right there.
Yeah,
excellent job at both, on the court, off the court. Great leader. With that said, my prediction, if you have a problem with it, you let me know. I just think that on the court, playing the game, Dorka Juhas will be a bigger factor than Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers, yes, she is still the voice of the team. She's still the leader off the court. All right. I'm just predicting that in the long run, when it's all said and done, when we reach March, and I'm pretty confident that they'll be in March Madness again, that look, Dorka Juhas will be the bigger factor on the court.
Yeah, I mean, on the court, Dorka definitely has the impact. And obviously, I just said, we saw that throughout the tournament, her size and her ability to shoot the three, because UConn doesn't really have another big that can shoot the three like that. We expect these 2 new recruits to have the potential to be able to develop that shot. So that's something interesting to keep an eye on as well. Can these 2 new recruits develop their outside shot? But I still think Paige Beckers is going to be the leader and the most dominant factor on the court for UConn this season. And I think she'll probably continue to do that, of course, this season during her junior year and her senior year. I just think she's pretty much the face of all women's college basketball at this point. And I just think in terms of a leader on the court, it really was a struggle when she was out. Caroline Ducharme, Azzi Fudd tried to do the best they could. Nika Mule stepped up as well, but it's just nothing like having Paige Beckers out on that court, leading this team, directing the traffic on the court. You can really see the difference between whether she's on or off the court, how that UConn offense really runs. Paige Beckers, she's a great passer. She knows how the UConn offense works. And she just does a great job of teaching all these other guards on the team of how, the offensive plays works, and passing to the bigs is something that's really important in the UConn offense, because we talked about it before. If you can't pass or if you can't play defense, Gino isn't going to play you. I think that's something that doesn't get mentioned enough about this UConn Huskies team. If Gino sees during these workouts and during the season, during the practices, if you can't pass, if you can't play defense, if he doesn't like the way you fit in during, through the UConn Huskies offensive system, he's not going to play you. So I think that's also something Paige Beckers does extremely well, is teaching these new players how the system works.
I will, another thing is that I like about these summer workouts. And again, I think it's very important to say that, Ryan, we all the time we talk about, okay, how are they going to play? How many shots are they going to make? What are they going to do from 3-point range? How's their defense going to be? How's the offense going to be? What's important that I think about these summer workouts, as far as any sport, that a lot of people don't touch on? Team chemistry.
Yeah.
Talking. Getting to know each other. How about the rookies coming in? Ayanna Patterson, Ice Brady. How important is it to meet Paige Beckers, somebody that you haven't been around? How is it important to get that chemistry with Azzi Fudd, somebody that I picture like a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, one of these days? Paige Beckers, Azzi Fudd, which I think is coming pretty soon. How important is the team chemistry? Not only how they're going to play on the court, but right now, because I feel like that's what holds a team together as well. When you start, and it starts today, right now, getting to meet each other, talking to each other, that chemistry, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would be a little nervous too if I was meeting Paige Beckers and had to play with her for the first time coming out of high school. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some nerves for the first day, but I completely agree. I think team chemistry And like I said, being able to fit in through this UConn offensive system, talking it out, talking with Gino, talking with Paige, some of the leaders on this team that know how to run this offensive system and know what Gino wants defensively as well is really, really important. And you could even go one more as far as saying LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, comparing them to Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, and Caroline
Yeah.
Ducharme, the triplets for UConn. I just think this season, once Caroline Ducharme gets completely healthy, coming off her hip surgery, those three are going to be the dominant force in this offensive starting lineup. I think Caroline Ducharme probably will work herself into the starting lineup over Nika Mule. But I just think those three are going to really be a dominant force this season.
Well, meeting head coach Gino, I left that one out. That's pretty nerve wracking in itself.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, for Pete's sake. But the top player I'm looking at, Ryan. I mean, you gave yours. I'm into these summer workouts as they start today. I mentioned I mentioned so much about Dorka Juhas. I love her very much, but I have to admit to you, out of all these players, it's so hard when you have. I mean, every single player. This is a top tier school for women's basketball. It's a capital of the basketball world, for Pete's sake, right? UConn. With that said, it's so hard just to pick one name off this roster, but I would do it. I love to say Paige Beckers. I love to say Dorka. I love to say all of them. The name that I have on this list going into the first day today of summer workouts that I'm keeping an eye on is, as far as when the new season comes along, AZ Fudd. AZ Fudd. You know, I expect her to grow tremendously with this starting five. And I bring this up because I feel like they specifically brought her in to be that dominant force along with Paige Beckers. Because you anything about it, yeah, Dorka Juhas, we're talking about she will play such a big factor, but she's returning as a senior. Once she's gone, right? They already lost 2 or 3 to graduation and the WNBA.
Yeah,
So
3.
you have to remember, Ryan, we're talking about not just this season, but the future. And man, I can't wait to see how much Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd grows together. Because like I mentioned, I compare them to a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade right there in Miami, even though they lost in the playoffs this year. Look, that's how I feel like we're going to be waking up to ESPN alerts in the future. We're going to be waking up to them headlines, to them top headlines in the news under the ESPN article. And it's going to feature a picture of Paige Beckers standing beside AZ Fudd. And both smiling, looking at each other, dapping it up, high-fiving each other. That's what I really picture in the future with these, not just this season, but in the seasons to come with them. And I believe this is what Becker's junior year.
Junior, right? Yeah,
So, I mean,
AZ
she would only
sophomore.
have one more
So
year with AZ. But again, that's what I picture, Ryan, and that's why I'm going with AZ Fudd as the top player on this list to keep an eye on heading into summer workouts.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a real possibility to get those ESPN, highlights and announcements and notifications down the line for this season. But I think if I had to pick a player, there's so many to choose from, like you mentioned. But I think I'm keeping an eye on Aubrey Griffin. Just the way she came off, or she's coming off of the preseason ankle injury, and of course the back surgery. So she's already had to overcome so much. We were expecting big things from her last season, and obviously she had to sit out the whole year. So that was definitely disappointing. So I'm really, really interested to see how she comes off of both of those injuries and is able to maybe work her way into a bench role or maybe possibly a starting lineup. But I don't really see her in the starting lineup. Maybe if they have some injuries down the line, but I think she could really be a big bench player coming off the bench and giving UConn some really big minutes. So I'm really watching out for her through these summer workouts to see how she works with Aaliyah Edwards, Dorka Juhas, because I think maybe Aubrey Griffin has the possibility of maybe having potential to shoot that 3 ball as well. So that would be really great to see. So I'm going to keep an eye out for her.
we'll go over the top two comments, or actually the only two that we had seen from the episode yesterday. We appreciate you guys coming through again. UConn Huskies to play FSU in the Hall of Fame showcase game, Ryan. There were some more comments. I promise we would get to them on the last video before this one. We'll get to them possibly tomorrow. We'll be back on tomorrow morning. With that said, Ryan, we'll get into it very quickly. Robert goes, Villanova is playing Iowa State, not Iowa. So Caitlin Clark won't be there. Ryan, I think you said that Caitlin Clark will be there. That's actually Iowa. Caitlin Clark plays for Iowa, not Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, the article must have been wrong, though, because I saw that comment. So they must have had it wrong in the article. Possibly, maybe it got
you
switched.
saw that Caitlin Clark will be there. So you actually saw that written.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it in the article. It said Villanova and Iowa will play. So I thought,
Iowa State.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, the article must have been wrong then because it said Villanova and Iowa will play. So
Okay.
I apologize for that one.
Iva came through again. We appreciate seeing her coming through. Excited for a new season of basketball. Talent can win you some games, but when talent runs out, it's hard work that gives the edge to championship team. Difference between UConn and some other teams are players' mentality of team first. Take out great player from team and team crumbles. At UConn, take out someone like Paige and the team works hard and adapts. Ooh, that's interesting, Ryan. That's interesting because sooner or later, before you know it, we're going to be waking up. Nobody wants to think about it. I get it. We're going to be waking up on these episodes talking about a team without Paige Beckers.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come quicker than you want it to, but it is an interesting point. But we saw it for 19 games last season, and UConn did a pretty good job without Paige Beckers. So we're hoping that everybody stays healthy this season, and we don't have to see that again without Paige Beckers being in the lineup, or without AZ Fudd or any of the other players. So, but I think if everybody can stay healthy this season, UConn definitely has a really, really deep team. And I really do expect them to make another deep run this season, but we still got a long way to go before the preseason regular season starts. So we'll just have to see what happens for these summer workouts, but really excited they start today. And I can't wait to see all the players meet back up and get back out there on the court.
That's right. Good luck to Gino, them Huskies, as they start the 22-23 season. First day of summer workouts, Ryan. And definitely it's summer workouts. All right. I mean, it's reaching about 84 degrees already, and it's not even 12 o'clock yet.
Yeah, we've had some hot ones down here so far. It's been keeping it around 85, 90 degrees. So I know we just got back from Florida. It was really humid down there. It came back up here. It's still humid up here. So
UConn women's basketball to face a Division II team in preseason. I know that one caught your eye, caught my eye. We have more on that tomorrow morning. Listen up with Phil and Rye.